Hello, 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 everyone. My name is The Worm, and it's time for my epilogue, my my final, what I think will be my final video on Danganronpa 2, and that's kind of an incredible thing to say. Um, I had always been thinking about doing a Let's Play, and it's somewhat surreal the fact that I actually did one. So let's put on. I looked through some of these songs. I found one that I think is appropriate for where we are right now. I just wanna chill out, after our whole experience, and I like this track. I liked it in the first game. I still like it now. Just lets me cool off after everything we've gone through. So, here in my epilogue, I'm going to be going over 3 general topics. The first, and probably what most people are here for, if they're here at all, would be my thoughts on the game. I will not call it a review, because I do not think I've played enough mystery or visual novels in general in order to give a review of it. So rather, this is more a summation of my thoughts, my opinions on the game, on the characters, that sort of thing. I'll talk about the cases, and I'll round up that first section with a character tier list, because I've seen some people do that, and it sounds like kind of a fun thing to do, while I can also give my thoughts on each character while I rank them. So that's going to be the first part of our epilogue here today. My second part will be more my thoughts on the Let's Play in general. That is to say, how I believe I did, what I can do better, what I did wrong, and just my thoughts on the whole thing. That'll probably be the most rambly part of the epilogue, so you could feel free to skip that part. That'll be probably in the middle somewhere. Excuse me. In the end, the third section of this epilogue will be my plans for the future. So I'll be talking about what possible games I'd want to play next, or how I'd like to play them, or not how I'd like to play them, but when would be better, when I'd like to play them. And of course, I'll probably be asking for advice if there's anyone who would be generous enough to give me that advice. I should probably start with that. Yeah, if there is anyone here watching this, I'd freely ask what your thoughts are, if I did a good job or if I did a terrible job. In any case, let's get into it. Let's start talking about Danganronpa 2. So, as I've said at the end of the last session, generally pretty dang positive reaction. I really enjoyed going through this one, and I think it really comes down to, well, what Danganronpa 1 and 2 are all about really is it's the characters. It's getting to know the characters, seeing the interactions between the characters, getting you invested in them, and then having them go through horrible situations. Sorry, that was my Discord, in case you heard that noise. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And thus, you could reason from that, I really enjoyed Danganronpa 2's characters, which is pretty, maybe not surprising, but I thought that Danganronpa 2 would have to put in a lot of work for me to like these characters. Because I really liked the characters of the first game. There were some I didn't like of the first game. Some of their arcs didn't really feel that satisfying in the first game. And I feel like that's kind of the case in this one. In general, I like them all, but I feel like some of them kind of... You know, in order to get to that point about... I'm already talking about characters. I thought I would do that after the cases, but I'm already there. Let's just talk about characters. And I have this window here. I just found this... Let's see if I can do this right, okay? I'm not used to messing with this OBS. Let's see if I can do that. Okay, so I hope this is working. This is just a general, what would you say, tier list that I found, and it's very basic. Excuse me. I don't really need it to be super complicated. I have it set to... let's see, properties. I have capture cursor checked. So I would think you'd be able to see my mouse, but I'm not seeing it on the screen. Well, I guess you don't need to see my mouse. You'll see it if I just, let's see, if I just put someone there. Yes, okay, so I think this is capturing correctly. I hope it is. If I do that. Okay, let's begin doing each of the characters, and then I'll have the opportunity to talk about each as I rank them. So I think that sounds good. Chiaki's up first here. S tier, instantly. She filled the role of our Kyoko, I think, throughout most of the game. Always helpful, always observant. She had her own personality. She was the sleepy gamer girl. I think in that sense, some people might find her maybe a bit boring, but I always appreciated her her input. I definitely, certainly, from about the midpoint of the game, I thought there was, you know, something up with her, considering we didn't really get much of an arc going for her. It was just she was always the helpful person in the background. So I knew she was going to be important, whether she's the traitor or, you know, our one true ally or, you know, anything like that. But of course, her being the traitor didn't really mean what we thought it might mean. So she ended up being what was needed to save the day at the end, which felt a bit much. Emotionally, I liked it because I was able to... The day was saved, essentially, and I like the relationship between Hajime and Chiaki. I think that's... I kind of like that. She was kind of his anchor, in a way, emotionally. But overall, very good character. I liked her inclusion. Fuyuhiko. I'm going to put him in A. I'm not... Some of these I might not be finalized on as of yet. But I was really surprised by him. In the first third of the game, maybe, he'd be down to here or even here, but... with the revelations involving his relationship with Peko and with his eventual recovery, and then his dedication, I'll say, to wanting to be part of the group and fighting for the group. I think that definitely changed my mind about him. He was never, perfect. He was still brash and insulting and all these things, but he turned it around for me. I'm still not sure I could forgive him for Mahiru. Forgiveness is one thing, but I understand. So I understand, but I don't really forgive. That'd be up for Mahiru to do. But certainly with his attempted... Would it be attempted suicide? I mean, plunging a knife into his stomach? I mean, that seems pretty intense, no matter what way you slice it. Yeah, so my thoughts about him have always been complicated, and I think that's good. He's pretty complex. Yakuza, had his sister killed. And that's the thing, every single one of these people was an ultimate despair. Chiaki obviously, and Monami obviously excluded. And I found it fascinating once I learned that to just start thinking about why these people ended up that way. And Fuyuhiko, it's obvious, he was already from a ruthless background, and the loss of his sister obviously just pushed him over the edge. So the Fuyuhiko we interact with, at least at the start, hadn't gone through that tragedy. So overall, I rate him pretty highly. Not my favorite or anything, but not bad. Good, I will say. Next is Akane. And unfortunately... Oh, let me clarify something very quickly. This tier list doesn't really go into detail. This is my enjoyment of a character in the game. I'm not saying... So if I put someone in D, I'm not saying they're a bad character. I'm saying I didn't enjoy them very much. So I just want to make that clear, similar to how I said before, I don't think I've read enough or written enough to really be able to judge. I mean, everyone can judge some bad writing to some extent, but in this instance, I'm too... I don't know what you'd say. Maybe too timid to want to make such a statement on it. So, again, this is my subjective enjoyment of a character in the game, not an objective analysis of whether they are well-written or poorly written. So, having said that, I wanted to say that because Akane, she's kind of like down here for me. She's like down here. And it stinks because she kind of made it to the end with us, and it stinks that I feel that way. She was the ultimate gymnast. She liked to eat and she liked to fight. And, that's pretty much it. The only source of complexity in her character, at least that I've been able to suss out, is her sort of relationship with Nekomaru. And she never even really seemed to think of it as that serious a relationship, more just like someone she could fight. Even after he died, she felt bad, but, we had that one conversation with Fuyuhiko in the funhouse, where he tried to get her to talk about her feelings. But see, with her, it may have seriously not been that deep of a feeling. She really may have just thought he was fun to fight. And she doesn't seem to go through an arc as a character at all. I remember at the beginning of the one chapter where we had the disease, despair disease. I remember Hajime thought she was when he saw her crying was. He said something like, "Oh, this isn't like her. Why is she like this?" And I thought she was actually going through some sort of character growth, but it turns out, oh no, she's acting irregular because of a disease, not because of grief. So that seemed a bit odd to me for it to go in that direction. So, I mean, she provided some, comic relief with her very frank manner to the rest of us. So I don't think she was bad. It's just she felt very meh. This is kind of like my favorites: good, okay, not okay, dislike. This is kind of my... So, neutral good, neutral bad, bad good, favorite. That's kind of the scale I'm going on here. And it sucks. I just don't really have much else to say about her. Gundam would be probably here-ish. He was a fun character. His personality and his obviously led to a bunch of antics being happening. His ultimate ability, one thing I notice is that a lot of their ultimate abilities don't really factor into the story that much. Nagito's does. Mikan's does. But like this one, this one, this one, this one, and even, well, his kind of does, but like a lot of these people, their ultimate abilities don't really factor into the story that much. I can't remember how much, off the top of my head, how much that was the case in the first game. Anyway, I'm getting sidetracked. He was the ultimate breeder, had his 4 hamsters. They were cute. Whenever he was in a scene, it made it funnier just because his lines were so out there. Wasn't really too much deeper than that. He had some good things to say in his trial, especially when he was beaten, about being fighting for life, is better than waiting for death and things like that. And I could appreciate some of the stuff he was saying. But ultimately, not my favorite. But I enjoyed the scenes he was in. I guess the difference between these two is that he was kind of always funny whenever he was saying something, but she was not as funny. Like it would be a food joke or a sex joke or something, and it just didn't always click for me. But him, he was always kind of fun to be around. Hajime Hinata, our ultimate talentless talent man. Favorite. Somewhat surprised he made it up here, but what? Am I surprised? I ended up really liking Makoto, so I guess I just really like protagonists. And I mentioned this in the last session, but Hajime's voice actor was just fantastic. I think I want to say, I'm looking at everyone here, I think his voice actor was probably the best I've heard in the game. Gundam's was very good. Gundam was good. He put a lot of oomph in it too, but Hajime he knocked it out of the park. He felt the most realistic too. Like, you really felt like he was in over his head and freaking out appropriately. And of course, he had we had the revelations about him, about why he was the way he was, and his connection with Izuru, and it was all good. I don't have any. He had a good arc of wanting to become confident. That was set up throughout the game and came to fruition at the end with Chiaki. Yeah, all good. I enjoyed it. Yeah, it's. Hyoko. That's you might be down here-ish. She had a kind of character arc with Mahiru, but it didn't really feel like it went anywhere. It's just she bullied everyone, then she stopped bullying one person, and then she died. It's just I didn't like it. Maybe some people think it's funny, or they like this kind of character, this type of character. I just did not. I wanted to see the good in her. After Mahiru's death, I felt like there was a chance for her to get better. But she did not live long enough for that to advance any further, unfortunately. Yeah. I don't think I have much else to say. I don't like the bully characters. I just don't really. Especially if they, her character was not able to develop any further than that. Okay, so Ibuki, kind of between B and C, I guess, would be my thought. I'll put her, in B. I think some people would really like her. It's just, for me, the kind of wacky, random personality she has going on, the really high energy type, it's just not for me, really. But she was never mean to anyone. She was even, self-deprecating a lot of the time, and the jokester, the class clown, kind of how she came across sometimes. We got to see her in concert one time, and that was when she was at the bar and was for Fuyuhiko's get well party, and it was kind of a pretty interesting song. It was. What would that genre of music even be? I'm not knowledgeable enough to know that. It's like metal and her really low voice singing. I wonder how she became an Ultimate Despair. I think at the time when it was revealed, I was trying to think of it, and the only thing I could think of is that she was in the same friend group as Mahiru, Mikan, and Hyoko. And we know Mikan obviously got involved with Junko, so presumably the rest of them did. And we know she was cut off. Well, not cut off, but she had left her band and was doing soul searching, so maybe she was in a vulnerable mental state for whatever reason. And yeah. Overall, just okay. But not... These two I'm still not sure about. Definitely meh. Maybe I'll put her here, because I think I enjoyed Gundam more than both of these. Okay, Mahiru. Mahiru's definitely here to start with. The problem with Mahiru is that I didn't get enough time with her, but definitely starting at least here. Ultimate photographer, we really didn't get to see much of her. She's one of the people we didn't really get to see much of her ultimate ability, but she seemed to have a view that, you know, it was the men folks' job to protect everyone, and she had high expectations for us all, and so that was kind of odd. I wonder where that was coming from. But nonetheless, she, two things I like about her is that she's kind of one of the more normal people that we interact with. You know, out of all these characters, being normal ends up actually making you stick out, rather than makes you, you know, less noticeable. It makes you more noticeable. So she was, you know, her averageness kind of made her appealing to me in some way. And the second thing about her I liked is she actually was fairly competent. She kept up with everyone during the trials. She made her own arguments and defended them, and she helped with evidence. She drew maps. She, you know, was very much interested in getting to the truth. And, you know, if it wasn't Chiaki, who was our Kyoko, if it were Mahiru who survived instead, I could definitely see her sort of filling that role. But unfortunately, she was not able to. So yeah, Mahiru is like... we just did not get enough time with her, sadly enough. I'll put her here. I liked her more than Gundam, I think. Alright, Mikan. Mikan... I'm going to start with her here. She, well, I don't like the bully character. At the same time, I don't really like the character who's always the bullied. The victim. Excuse me. Simply just the fact that it's brought up so often, it feels like it gets too much at times. Like her she never reveled. Like, she didn't seem masochistic to me, but it was kind of on the borderline, and I didn't really like that. But she was otherwise, when she wasn't getting bullied, you know, she seemed fairly pleasant to be around. Obviously assisted with us with the autopsies, you know, until she caught the disease. I still kind of liked her, though. Of course, she was the first of us all to be revealed as an Ultimate Despair member, which was a surprise. At the time, I didn't really know what that meant. It was kind of vague and uncertain that she was an Ultimate Despair. And we can see from her behavior afterward that she was deliberately trying to throw us off. So I think from what she said, we can tell that it was definitely the plan of the Ultimate Despairs to, once they were inside the virtual world, to try and screw with the Future Foundation. So her role, she played a very key role in this, interestingly enough. But I'm going to keep her... Man, I guess I'll keep her here. Nagito, man, just no doubt, straight to S. How can I even begin to talk about Nagito? I'll start by saying this: who the hell is Nagito? I so wanted to think he was Makoto, and was going off that assumption for basically the whole game. It turns out he's not that, and I don't know how to react to that still. I guess the assumption we're supposed to make is that he's simply another... He's another lucky student from another year, and he just has a different philosophy than Makoto did as a lucky student. But anyway, I titled one of my videos "A Mad Genius," and I think that describes him pretty closely. He was on top of it in all the different cases. But you can never guess if he was screwing with you or if he was being honest with you. It was just, I'd say part of the reason Danganronpa 2 is so good is these three characters right here. You know, all these guys are interesting in some way. At least one way, they're all interesting. But these three, the dynamic between them was just great. I always wanted to see him. I wanted to see what he was going to do next, what he was going to say next. Let's change the music real quick. Yeah, let's change it up every once in a while. I liked the fact that I could easily see different ways to explain what he was doing. Like if he was aiding the traitor or going against the traitor. It was all informed by his crazy, weird ideology or philosophy, and it's just, yeah. I mean, I'm sure Nagito's probably at the top of almost everyone's list. He has to be. He's like the main attraction to this game, I feel. In a lot of ways, he's like... He serves a similar role to Byakuya in the first game in that he's kind of our rival, but he goes beyond that. He's like... At times, I thought he would be our final boss, you know? It's just... yeah, it was fantastic. I am pretty sure he has the same voice actor as Makoto, so I guess I actually should look that up. If it is the same voice actor, then I guess that was just to throw us off, or it's someone who sounds similar. I need to look that up, but I guess I could look that up now. No, I don't want to accidentally see something, so I'll save that for another time, I guess. Because maybe, you know, Danganronpa 3 is a game. Maybe there's some crazy revelations that have yet to have been revealed. I hope he appears, if anything. But he's one of the ones who is sleeping at the end, huh? I want him to appear in Danganronpa 3. That's what I want. I think out of any character in this game, I'd love it if, you know, Chiaki and Hajime could appear in the next game. But out of all of them, I kind of want Nagito to be there because he's just such an interesting character. Okay, Nekomaru. I want to say Hirish. Similar to Akane, he felt very one note to me. And unfortunately, being turned into a robot didn't really change that much. You know, ultimate team manager. We didn't really get to see much of that. He was just, he didn't really manage much during the game. He was just excitable, willful, 130%, 200% motivation, just, yeah, nothing really. He did sort of, Akane and Nekomaru did have a kind of dynamic going on, but it didn't really lead anywhere for either of them. Well, it led to Nekomaru sacrificing himself, so that's something. I don't know. I'm Kind of sad to put him there, but yeah. And he didn't really... He was funny some of the times. He had some funny jokes. I might revisit him. I gotta think about him more. Peko, starting here. Another character that, you know, wasn't around for very long. But I liked her. Had the relationship with Fuyuhiko. We didn't really get to see her sword skills until her execution, and even then she was being puppeted by Monokuma, so we didn't really get to see much of that. She had the tool dynamic of, you know, being a tool of Fuyuhiko, which that's been done before, you know. I'm not saying it's bad, but I've seen that sort of, what would it be, trope? Something like that. I've seen that trope before, and I'm sure others have this as well. So, but she was competent, you know. She participated in the trials pretty well, and certainly did her best for Fuyuhiko. So, yeah. But again, she's on the border. I'll keep her here, though. Kazuichi Soda. Man. I've had my disagreements with him. He was just like a buddy to Hajime, essentially. But was never... Was he key in any of the trials? Like, did he have, like, the decisive testimony or evidence? I can't remember. Like, he helped in the funhouse by repairing the elevator, but, like, other than that, he just got up to, you know, various wacky escapades where he would take Hajime and do something, or he'd blame Hajime, or... And he had this sort of thing for Sonya, and his whole infatuation for Sonya, that's like a big part of his character, and it kind of dragged on, and I didn't really care for that. She didn't really care for that. But you know, he made it to the end, which I'm still surprised about. Oh man. But it's weird that I guess I put him over like these guys because he was actually somewhat of a buddy to Hajime, like they hung out sometimes. It was just that's another one I have to think about more. Sonya goes there, firmly there, at least. Was always polite. You know, she's meant to be the naive princess, you know, and that's also something that's been done before. But she was spirited. She was willful. Like, she was not timid. When Soda Kaz started getting in on her nerves, she would shut him down, you know. She did not let people take advantage of her, and I appreciate that. But otherwise, yeah, she was competent in trials, along with Peko and Mahiru. You know, these guys are just always competent, but the others, it's, you know, heads or tails whether they can be. But these three, Fuyuhiko too, these four, I'd say, out of them, aside from like the main, what would it be, tritagonists, these four were all pretty competent throughout the trials. But yeah, I like Sonya. I always enjoyed when she had something to say. Teruteru, there you go, bud. I think that's it. Byakuya. This is a toughie. Because as we now know, it wasn't Byakuya. And that's like the weirdest thing that I have to think about. Because my whole thing with him in the first trial was the whole first chapter with him. It was highlighting the growth, his growth as a character from the first game. At least that's what it felt like to me. And then suddenly at the near the end, we find out, oh, that's not actually him. It's another guy who we don't know, who's just pretending to be him. We did see at the end, we did see the real Byakuya who did go to support Makoto. So I think the real Byakuya has gone through character growth. It's just he's just a weird one now. I still don't know how to feel about him. Yeah, so I'd keep him B. If it was the real Byakuya, he'd probably go up here. I'm just not sure. Monami is such a tough one, too. Hirish, I don't really have a... It's tough, man. I mean, I did as everyone else did and kind of bullied her a bit, you know. Of course, I say that after disparaging bullies, but I was kind of going with the flow. And it felt somewhat appropriate because she seemed to have gotten us in this mess while then doing basically nothing to protect us. Of course, in retrospect, we now know that this whole terrible situation was terrible for her. The students that she was created to care for were being horribly murdered, and she could do nothing but watch, essentially. And it's just... So, her character definitely was... definitely came back a bit. So maybe I should put her there instead. Got a nice little bell curve going on here. So how does that look? I feel bad for Ibuki being here. I'll put Ibuki here. So I guess this is dislike a lot, dislike, neutral, like, really like. I guess this is where I'm at. Yeah, I think that's where I'm at. What do these things do? Oh, nothing. Okay. I think that's where I'm gonna... Maybe these two up here. I think I feel a bit more comfortable like that. Pekko's the only one that I'm now... Man, that's tough. This is tough. If there were like, if there was another section between here, Pekko would go there. Okay, I'm locking it in. Here's my tier list of characters for Danganronpa 2. I feel like out of all these, I feel like these two down here and these three up here are probably in line with a lot of people. That's just my gut instinct. It's these characters that I think would be very much, you know, depending on people's own personality and who they like. Yeah, and Monokuma's not up here. If he were up here as a character, he'd be like around A, I think. Just because he's always crazy and like I dislike him, but as a character, he was always somewhat entertaining, you know. So he'd probably be around A. But yeah, that's it. Wow, that took quite a while. Let's talk about. Let's go back to the game. What others? Oh, that's too heavy for me. This is all right. Let's do this one. So let's talk about my favorite case real quick. It would probably be the one with, is it 5? The one with Nagito. I think that's probably my favorite case. Just because being dragged around left and right by that mad genius was pretty fun to go through. Least favorite? Probably Mahiru's. What was that? 2? Funhouse. The Funhouse one felt okay. Oh, Despair Disease would probably be lower. Yeah, I'd say maybe the Despair Disease would probably be lower for me. That one just, well, I guess part of it is just I had difficulty getting the truth on that one. My single least favorite puzzle, I can say, would be that one in the game one. Mahiru one. The one with where it was like the gravel in the swimsuit. I think that was kind of the most out there convoluted thing. But yeah, just the whole reveal of like what was Nagito's real objective and what were the methods he used to do that. Just it felt good. I really enjoyed going through that. Do people count the graduation exam as a real trial? If so, that one would be tough to judge because there was a lot of exposition there, but it had a lot of good emotional high points, with Makoto coming in, with the ultimate despairs being revealed, with Hajime's past being revealed, with Monokuma's plan being revealed. A lot of high points in it. I just think it felt drawn out at times, but otherwise that one was good too. But that one, it depends on whether you consider it. I guess the game considers it a real trial. It's just, but yeah, Nagito's trial was just a roller coaster, you know, up and down, left, right, over and over. Is there anything left to talk about the game? I'm probably forgetting something, but I think I'm gonna wrap up my discussion on the game for now. I might think of something later, but overall, yeah, overall it was a good game. Glad I played it. Glad I chose this to Let's Play it. There were a few times the puzzles got annoying, and quite a few times where I got stumped, but overall, it was alright. I enjoyed I thought the island was a bit... The setting of it being a tropical island was a bit out there at first, but in retrospect, I think it was alright. You know, I kind of really enjoyed Hope's Peak Academy as a setting in the first game. So I was a bit sad to not have a setting like that again. I felt the tropical island had a much different tone than the first game. So I still think I enjoyed Hope's Peak in the first game as a setting more, but the tropical island was alright. It wasn't too out there. Plus, I had realized it was a simulation really early on, so there was an explanation for why we were there, at least. So that was fine. And again, my opinion of the ending, good. I thought it was good. All the reveals felt handled all right. You know, maybe drawn out too much, but other than that, I liked all of the reveals, I think. Yeah, I'm going to take a quick break, just a minute or so, and then when I come back, I'm going to talk about more of my thoughts about the Let's Play in general, so give me 1 second. Okay, I'm back. Let's get another song going. Okay, so this next part of the epilogue, I'm going to be more talking about my performance and my thoughts on Let's Playing in general. I feel like a lot of people may not want to hear this, so if you're leaving now, and it was nice to have you here. Otherwise, I'm going to keep going, or you can probably skip ahead to where I talk about what I'm going to do next. I'm saving that for the end. So, thoughts on Let's Playing. I enjoyed it, and I'm glad I did it. I think I talked about in my intro that, you know, I really enjoy watching Let's Plays myself, and one thing I'm excited about, having finished this game, is now I get to watch people in their Let's Plays and see how they react to different things. I feel like there were times I may have rambled, but I don't think as much as I thought there would have been. I think usually my rambling was confined to like the beginnings of videos. I feel like other Let's Players kind of just go into it more quickly than I did, but maybe not. There were a couple times where, well, specifically at the end, where I felt I stopped talking as much, but that might have been because I was playing for a long time, my throat was sore, and it didn't feel like there was much to talk about. And that was, I'm sure it was a similar case at the end of Danganronpa 1 when it was just Junko monologuing, essentially. And so when the game's giving you the answer, you can't really speculate much. So it was just letting the game tell me the answer, pretty much. I probably need to learn more about OBS, about editing. I don't know how to make thumbnails or anything like that. A part of my problem is that there are things I enjoy, but I have problems with like procrastination or skipping steps that seem like they'll be troublesome when I really shouldn't. And so I probably need to learn to do that. I have no idea how to edit anything. You know, I've just been hitting record and going. And thankfully, I think that wasn't really a problem for this game. But in the future, that may not always be the case. If I need to like take a pause in the middle of an episode and come back, it'd be good to be able to cut that out. And so I say all this, but then will I actually take the time to learn those things? I should, but I just... It's a problem with my personality. I feel like I don't want to put in the work to get it, learn it, and to put it into use. It feels like it'll just be troublesome, but I don't know. I don't know how long it takes to. Probably not that long because tons of people do it. I don't know. It's just something I got to work on, I guess. I'm kind of surprised how long it took when I really shouldn't have been. I mean, it's a full visual novel mystery game. Of course, it would take like it took 50-some episodes. It took so long that I'm not entirely sure how I want to continue from here. I'll get into that more when I talk about my future plans. Let's see if there's another song here. Yeah, that's good. Definitely, I've said this several times, definitely happy I did this. One thing I think I want to try to do in the future is playing more than one game at the same time. Or, not play, let's play more than one game at a time. So I was thinking something like on 2 days, have a main game that I play, that I upload twice a week, and then maybe a side game that I only do once, just as an experiment, you know. This whole let's play, doing all this sort of thing. It's all to see what's fun, what's interesting to me. So I think that's something I want to do. Maybe two at once. And I think I also want to experiment on the types of games that I let's play. I think for now, doing visual novels is fine. But in the future, I may want to expand that. And I'll get into that when I talk about my future plans, which I probably should. So let me wrap up this section. This is the smallest section, I guess. Overall, I'm happy with this Let's Play. I think it went better than... I think Let's Playing this was a good idea. I think it went better than I thought it probably would as a first-time Let's Play. But I also see that there were a lot of things I could have done to make it better that I didn't do. and I probably should do going forward, but I lack the confidence that at least in the short term, I lack the confidence that I'll be able to change things up. Because I just like playing the game. I don't really like all the extra stuff, I guess. Anyway, let's stop there on that section. And let's talk about a more fun topic. Future plans. As I just said, I think I want to do 2 games at once. I kind of want to do like a main game and then a side game. And I think I want the main game to be like a longer game, while I want the side game to be a shorter game. And for now, I think I want to stick with like visual novels for the main game that I play. I don't know if I'll do the 2 game plan yet. Maybe I'll just, for now, pick another game and just do that one three days a week. But I think at one point in the future, I want to do a 2 game split like that. And if miraculously anyone is still watching this, if you've somehow found my channel, watched my Let's Play, and now are watching the epilogue, and are somehow still watching the epilogue, I do want feedback. If there's any particular visual novel that's in this vein, or not, I'm interested to hear about it. I've played Umineko, I've played Higurashi, I've played The House in Fata Morgana. So I like that sort of mystery sort of thing. And I have a suggestion of my own, and it's the one I'll probably do next. I will probably play this game called AI Somnium Files. I know the sequel is about to come out. And I actually bought that game a while back. Not when it came out. I think it was a sale. It was one of those things where Steam has a sale and you buy a few things and then they just sit in your library. Well, I have it, and I feel like a Let's Play will give me the nudge I need to finally play the dang thing. So that's kind of my prime contender for the next game I want to Let's Play. Because I think it's similar. I think it's it's 3D. Is it still a visual novel? It's a mystery game, I know that much. I know there's murder and stuff. So I think I want to do that, but I'll have to look through more things. If there are any other like visual novels that anyone can suggest to me, I think I would appreciate it. Otherwise, if I ever do that 2 game plan, well, the main game slot will probably be a visual novel. In that second slot, I would be thinking I want to try something else entirely, because I actually play a pretty big variety of games. Strategy, shooters, turn-based games, RPGs. I like quite a few things. I'm like a, jack of all trades, master of none, but I'm not really a jack either. I'm adequate. I'm adequate at most games. I'm not a very, but I like quite a few different things. So I think for the secondary game, I would like it to be shorter than like the main game I'm playing. But I'd like it to be shorter, and I like it to be single player. I don't think I want to play any like MMOs or multiplayer games. I used to play multiplayer games when I was younger, but just due to my temperament, I don't have the right attitude to play multiplayer games anymore. I get frustrated, or so if there's like a single player strategy game, RPG game, shooter, or visual novel that's shorter, I think I would want to consider that. So, that's quite a huge list of possibilities. Also, it would probably have to be something I haven't played before, because I'd like to go in blind for my Let's Plays. So yeah, if anyone has any suggestions, I think I would want it to be more like an RPG or definitely like a single player experience. But if anyone has any, what was I thinking? I don't know about JRPGs though. I'm not sure I like those ones as much. I don't think I've played many of them. Maybe there are some I would like. My sister played Final Fantasy games, but I never really got into them. So, in any case, that's kind of where I'm at. I think I'm still gonna do one game for now, but I feel like I'd like to try doing 2 at some point. And the second one can be pretty much something I haven't played before, something that's single player, something that's preferably not too long. It doesn't have to be something that's done in 2 sessions. It's just I was surprised by how long it took me to play through this game. But yeah, I think, pending suggestions, I think my next game will be AI Somnium Files, just so I can start getting through my backlog of games, and I think that's pretty well reviewed, right? AI Somnium Files, do people like it? I have another visual novel. It's called like Chaos Rising or something, but I think that's more of a horror game. I might save that for Halloween, maybe that would be a fun thing to do. Save it for October. There's another thing. Aren't some visual novels you're not allowed to play far enough or something? I don't know. I feel like I've heard that. Like, I've heard that like some visual novels you're not supposed to go farther than a certain point, but I can't remember if that was just one or if there are multiple that are like that. I guess I'd have to do research. I guess Syconia would be another option. I like. I've done Higurashi no Mineko. I know Syconia is a thing. But of course, it's like the first iteration of it, so it doesn't have any voice acting and no. It's like the first version of it. It could still be good. What else? There's another series, another visual novel series. Is Muv-Love a thing people enjoy or think is good? I think it has positive views. I've heard it mentioned in the past. I have it listed. Oh, not Chaos. What did I say before? Chaos Rising? Raging Loop is the one I was looking at. I know Steins Gate's very popular. I don't know if I want to do that one, though. I know Steins Gate's like about time travel, I think. And I just don't... I don't really enjoy time travel plots. Even if they're very well done. So I'll have to think about it. And here's one. Here's one I think I could do for a side game. I have what is it? Project Wingman. If that's coming out of left field, it's a game where you play in a fighter jet, and similar to the Ace Combat series. I think I want to try that. I got that on a sale a while back too. I played through. I'm not an expert on Ace Combat or anything. I played through Ace Combat 7 and enjoyed it. So I think I may want to try Project Wingman out. That might be a good side game. In any case, I think that's basically a general overview of where I'm at. But I think what I'm going to do first is AI Somnium Files. Because I think that's something that's okay, and I've seen that other people have Let's Played it. There's a sequel coming out that might be good. I think I'll do that. For a side game that isn't a visual novel, Project Wingman pops up. You know, there's a game I've not ever beaten, Sekiro. I started that game, but I never beat it. I might want to go that one. Lots to think about. For now, I think while I wait for people, if anyone makes a suggestion, I think I'll wait to see that. Otherwise, I'm going to start with AI Somnium Files. And I'll think more about what a good side game would be. Yeah, I gotta think, and I gotta think about how many days I want to be uploading, because right now I'm doing 3 days a week. I could do more. It's just making the time to sit down, record, and at first I was having trouble finding time, but I think I've improved. Definitely in the latter half of this first Let's Play, I've improved the amount of time I can record. So that's been good. Man, I have too many games on the backlog. I have too many. There's a game that just came out a little while ago that looks cool to me. It's called Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga. I played the Fire Emblem games way back when. Or, not all of them, no, only a couple. I think they were on, like, what? I played them on, like, one of the Game Boys, I think. And then I played Fire Emblem Three Houses, and that was fun. And Symphony of War: The Nephilim Saga looks pretty cool. I'm just rambling now. I thought I didn't really structure this. I just had three vague. I wanted to talk about the game, I wanted to talk about my Let's Play, and then I wanted to talk about the future. And I think I've done that. So, if you're going to take anything away from this last section here, I think I'm going to do AI Somnium Files for my next Let's Play. I think, unless something pops up that really makes me reconsider, I think I'm going to do for that. But because I doubt there's going to be many people who watch this video or get to the end of this video, I think at the beginning of the AI Somnium Files, I think I'm going to ask people for suggestions there, because I think I've noticed that the first episode of this Let's Play has like 40 views or something, like my intro video, and that's crazy to me. 40 people watched it. So I think at the beginning of the AI Somnium Files, I'll just ask if there's anyone who wants to give me suggestions for games, and I think I'd appreciate it. So yeah, that's the plan. Beginning of next Let's Play, ask people for their suggestions. Yeah, so I think I'll wrap it up there. This has been my epilogue of my first ever Let's Play. My Let's Play of Danganronpa 2, Goodbye Despair, blind Let's Play. If anyone's still here, thank you for listening along this far. I'm grateful, really. That's really surprising to me, if that's the case. And I hope you all have a good day or a good night. And I hope to see you for my next Let's Play, which will most likely be AI Somnium Files. So, hope to see you then.